People are working more than ever, checking their bank accounts more than ever, thinking about money all the time, and still feeling broke, not struggling, not failing, just constantly behind. You pay your bills, you cut back, you try to be responsible, and somehow your money disappears faster than it comes in. Groceries feel heavier, rent feels suffocating, gas feels like a small punch every time. And the worst part? Nothing in your life looks wrong, but everything feels harder. So what changed? Because something did, and no one is explaining it clearly. But this still isn't the real problem, because what's happening right now is deeper than inflation, deeper than bad budgeting, and definitely deeper than just work harder. Working harder is no longer the full solution. And that's where the pressure really begins. Because now you're not just dealing with higher prices, you're dealing with a system that quietly shifted while you were still playing by the old rules. And the scary part? Most people still think this stress is temporary. It probably isn't. At first, it didn't feel obvious. It started small. Your grocery bill went up a little. Your rent increased slightly. Your subscriptions stacked quietly in the background. Nothing dramatic, just constant. And then one day, you opened your bank app and thought, wait, where did all my money go? And that moment, that confusion, that low-level anxiety, millions of people are feeling it right now. You're not imagining it. You're not bad with money. You're reacting to pressure that didn't exist like this before. But what's happening next is even worse. Because most people still think this is temporary. They think once inflation slows down, things will go back to normal. But what if this is the new normal? For decades, income growth roughly matched living costs. Now, costs move faster than salaries. Think about your monthly life for a second. Rent or mortgage, groceries, gas, insurance, phone bill, streaming services, subscriptions you forgot about, debt payments, unexpected expenses. Individually, each one seems manageable, but together, they stack. And they don't just stack financially, they stack emotionally. You're not just spending more. You're mentally managing money all day long, constantly calculating, constantly adjusting, constantly feeling one step behind. And that mental exhaustion, that's what's draining people now. Here's a real scenario. 10 years ago, people worried about rent once a month. Now, people check their bank accounts before buying lunch. Let's say you earn $60,000 a year. A few years ago, you could live decently, not rich, but stable. Now, rent takes a bigger chunk. Groceries cost way more. Insurance premiums creep up. Gas eats into your weekly budget. And suddenly, your normal life feels tight. Not because you downgraded your lifestyle, but because your lifestyle got more expensive without asking for your permission. And here's the part most people don't realize yet. Your income didn't collapse. Your purchasing power did. That's the quiet shift. You're earning, but your money is doing less. And the system didn't break loudly. It adjusted silently. But here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. Because this isn't just about prices going up. It's about stability going down. Jobs feel less secure. Raises don't keep up. Benefits shrink. Healthcare costs rise. Student loans return. So even if you're doing everything right, you still feel uncertain. And that uncertainty, that's what's exhausting people. Because you're not just managing money anymore. You're managing risk constantly. If this is starting to feel familiar, like something you've been sensing but couldn't fully explain, then you're already noticing what most people ignore at first. And that awareness, that's where everything starts to change. Because the people who adapt early aren't always the smartest. They're the ones who realize something shifted before it becomes obvious to everyone else. And this channel exists for that exact reason. Not to tell you to hustle harder, but to help you see what's actually changing underneath. Because most people will stay stuck, not because they're lazy, but because they're reacting to a new system with old habits. And that's where the real gap begins. Now here's the deeper shift most people still don't see. Life didn't just get more expensive. It got more complex, more subscriptions, more payment plans, more buy now, pay later traps, more invisible leaks. Money isn't just leaving your account. It's being pulled from multiple directions at the same time. And your brain was never designed to handle this many financial decisions every day. So what happens? You feel overwhelmed, not because you're irresponsible, but because the system is designed to feel frictionless, too easy to spend, too easy to subscribe, too easy to ignore, until it quietly builds up. And here's the pattern interrupt most people don't expect. The problem isn't just that things cost more. The problem is money now requires more attention than it used to. And attention is already exhausted. You're working, thinking, managing life. And now you also have to constantly manage money at a deeper level. That's why it feels like you're always on, always thinking, always adjusting. So what are the people who adapt early doing differently? Not extreme things, not unrealistic hustle, just small shifts in awareness. They're paying attention to where money leaks quietly. Not just where it leaves, obviously. They're questioning recurring expenses instead of accepting them as normal. And most importantly, they're realizing that stability now comes from control, not just income. Not control in a strict, stressful way, but awareness, because awareness reduces pressure. And pressure is what's quietly breaking people right now. So here's the bigger question you need to ask yourself. If life doesn't go back to the way it was, if this pressure doesn't disappear, then what changes do you need to make? Not drastic ones, just honest ones. Because ignoring this shift won't make it go away. And adapting late always costs more. Now imagine two people, both earning similar incomes, both living similar lifestyles. One believes this pressure is temporary. They wait, they hope, they assume things will go back. When the other feels the same pressure, but pauses and thinks, something changed, and I need to understand it. Fast forward a few years, one is still reacting, the other adjusting, and that gap, it starts small, but over time, it becomes everything. Because this isn't just about money anymore. It's about how you respond to a system that quietly evolves. And the truth is, most people won't respond. They'll normalize the stress, normalize the anxiety, normalize feeling broke, even while earning. And that's what makes this dangerous. Because when something feels normal, you stop questioning it. You stop adapting. You just accept it. But the people who question it early, they don't just survive the shift. They move ahead of it. The people who adapt first usually look paranoid right before they look smart. So if something in this video felt uncomfortably accurate, if you've been feeling this pressure but couldn't fully explain it, don't ignore that feeling. Because by the time this becomes obvious to everyone, the advantage of understanding it early is already gone. And the next shift, it won't announce itself either. It'll feel small at first, subtle, almost unnoticeable, until one day it isn't. And the next shift, most people still haven't noticed it yet. But once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. And that's exactly what we're talking about in the next video.